Good morning, guys. I'm in my car and I'm going to do some thinking out loud again. So for the last almost 2 years, probably about a year and a half, I've been thinking about this whole labor shortage thing, and I kept thinking, how the heck are people not working? I don't understand. I understood it when there were all these incentives and extra money through unemployment, where people could get paid more to not work than to work. That all made sense to me. But when most states ended the additional money, I could not understand how people could make it on unemployment money. For the state of Florida, the max weekly payment is $275. That is nothing. That would not even cover my rent, and I don't think that it would barely cover my groceries, we'll just say. I don't think people could survive on that. So for a while there, I was thinking maybe the rapture happened and I got left behind, because I don't understand where all these people are that are supposed to be working. Then I figured that wasn't the case. I kind of got this idea that if you wanted to reset the world, if you wanted to end the traditional capitalistic society, that way of governments and that way of business, and you wanted to usher in something new that was more controlled, where people couldn't go out and make as much money as they could possibly want by working very hard, you need to do a series of things. You need to, one, get people dependent on the government. We all know that they're trying to, or they want to eventually usher in a universal basic income. Whether you're working or not, you're going to get paid a certain amount, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I think it pisses off most hardworking people. I'm sure lazy people are incredibly excited about that, and I don't mean just lazy. I'm sure there are disabled people and people who cannot work that would be excited about that, and I don't group those people into the same category, obviously. Anyway, step one, get people dependent on the government. That is basically the beginning steps to a socialist and communist type of society. Giving out all the extra money for unemployment was a very good step in that direction. And then I started thinking, they also need to have shortages. They need to have people dependent for their basic needs on the government. And after the whole unemployment extra boost ended, you're not going to get people to just stop working and stop producing, because they need to provide for their families. So how do you get people to stop working? To create shortages, to create panic, to create the necessity for the government to come in and rescue and provide for you. You put into place regulations, health-based regulations, that prevent people from working. So I'm trying to formulate these thoughts as I go. I didn't really have all this planned out. Never do. But I started thinking, like in my workplace, if you so much as sneeze, or anyone in your family has any kind of symptom whatsoever that happens to be one of the 4,500 symptoms related to the, you're out for 10 days. It was 10 days, no questions asked. You're out, you're quarantining, you're not going to work. I'm sure that was the case for a lot of businesses. If you got sick, you had any kind of symptoms, you tested positive, you were out of work. That's a long time to keep people out of the workforce. People were getting sick all over the place. Could have been a common cold, anything. No matter what, they're not working. You know what that does to the labor force? Cuts it extremely thin. You take people out for 10 days, and that happens, just say one employee once every 3 months or so is out for 10 days. that's a lot of stuff that's not getting done. That's a lot of product that's not being created. That's a lot of product not being put on the shelves. That's a lot of stuff not happening. That's a lot of commerce halted. At my work for a long time, we were continuously short-staffed because people were getting sick and going out. And we handled it. I mean, I don't work in a business that is like the grocery store where it's, you know, important that the shelves get stocked. I mean, people could do just fine with us being short-staffed. I don't work at a hospital or anything like that. But the hospitals probably had the same protocols in place, and we were wondering, before all the mandates, why they were so short-staffed. Well, it's probably because anytime any of them got sick at all, they were out for 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever that workplace protocol was. So that was a regulation that was actually put in place by the cat. And imagine why we have so many shortages. Of course, we do have to take into account that containers are not being offloaded from overseas, and that is accounting for a lot of shortages in every business, every category. But keep that aside, shortages, short staffing, that had a lot to do with people being forced to be out of work. Now, it's changed, I want to say in the last 2.5 months or so. Sometime in December, the Cat organization changed it, and it's now 5 days out, something like that. But still, that's a lot of missed work time, and that has a severe effect on the economy. And part of me thinks that might all be by design, just to create small bits of chaos here and there. Shortages, short staffing, just basic unrest. I mean, how many people have been frustrated when they go through a drive-through and it takes forever to get your food, or you go into a restaurant and it takes forever because they just don't have staff? It's not because the staff are willingly not working. It's because they're forced to take that time off because of this health crisis. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk that out because I was thinking, you know, how could we possibly have all these labor shortages? But it makes sense. It's all by design. You create these smaller problems so that you can create the savior and you can create the solution and bring that solution in. And basically, people will have no choice when it gets to the point of bringing in universal basic income. People will be begging for it, and they'll probably do just about anything to receive it. They'll probably make any kind of decision that they may not have wanted to make for themselves in order to get that universal basic income, because they will be hungry and they will be unable to pay their bills. So yeah, just think about that and how these health regulations are helping to bring in this reset of sorts. I don't think I should even say that term because it will probably get flagged. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble again, and I'll see you in the next video.